All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do the last issue of Before Watchmen, Night Owl by J. Michael Straczynski and the Kubert and Bill Sienkiewicz. I hope I said it right. This is a very, unusual story. Well, not really unusual, but it's more like we don't see this much in mainstream comics. And this is not really a comic or series that you have to have it in your home or in your collection, but it's a part of the Watchmen universe and more backstories, side stories, whatever you call it. And I think this is it's a entertaining one, But again, if you are purely for the standalone, you don't really have to have this. But it's not a bad comic. Actually, it's better than most series, in my opinion. But hey, because the topic is a little bit more different, it's about, a bad guy. But the bad guy is just more a vehicle of what's really important in this book, and that's more, let's say, doing the right thing, but it's really depends what you mean with doing the right thing and the consequences of it. So yeah, let's continue the story. We have this reverend who has found out that he was Rorschach, and because he helped him, he sent it below as a test to see how he reacts. He finds all these bodies that this reverend killed because he thinks that they're all sinners and all that stuff. And, and he has some kind of an idea on, rising to power, and he has the means to do it I'm going to explain a little bit later what he means with that. Anyway, so, he was disappointed that, Rorschach turned against him, and therefore he just surprised him, got him captured, and then now at the point of being burned under the top of these bodies in this church, right? And meanwhile, we have this lady prostitute woman. Her name is at the end, but she hasn't been mentioned in this whole book except at the end. And Owlman did some investigation, and all clues leads to a guy called Taylor Dean, as in Reverend Taylor Dean, We have also something here that relates more to this woman, which I'm not sure what it really means. This is Owlman. He read something of the original Owlman, which was a little bit of a backstory. And then maybe he's going to burn it. Or this is something from her past, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. So yeah, he's... I like the art looks great. So basically, he tells the story how it all came to be, because he hired a prostitute, a couple of $100 full service, and then she was, talking and after the deed, right, about she was thinking, hey, you and me, right? It's not that people should know about it, what you are, me, and doing. And I have a thought and idea, along with a guy called Robert. Hey, imagine if all those rich folks giving you all that money for the church downtown would be very disappointed. He says, don't do this to me. Oh, yes, I can, sweetie. You're going to pay me $100,000 a week. And he says, but then he snaps and chokes the life out of her. And that was the beginning, right? It was the beginning of his, downfall or failing upwards. I'm not sure how you say it. But he tried to... so what's happened, he's burning the apartment or the building. And he thought that, it would erase the evidence, which it did. But he thinks, they're going to find out anyway. And he needs to leave town. But what happened is that the neighborhood, the good neighborhood, because it's a good neighborhood, because, church people, decent people, that's what they tell themselves, and most of them are. They found out that prostitutes are renting their rooms. So basically, they're getting scandalized and getting evicted from the neighborhood. So the whole place is then cleaned up. And and it basically made him rich, right? Because he's preaching about there's all these prostitutes and all these Wiccans and sins, and he needs to, get eradicated from this world, right? And it made him pretty rich. But there is some people that, are sinners. And he says, if one body If the body of one sinner burned in hell's fire could do so much good, how much more could be done by a whole pile of them? Think of the message that would be sent. A pile of corruption gone in flame in the basement of God's house. The contrast between pure and profane. What an image. So I went to work. Young harlots, older ones, young men, didn't matter. They were all useful. All fuel for the flames. After I was done with them, of course. I don't know what he means with that, but probably sexual in nature. A little bit corruption here and there. The more I did, the more I enjoyed doing it. I was good at it. I liked it. So he's bragging about it, right? So, basically, completing his monologue, throws this Molotov into the fire, and he says, your abuse of the sacred temple will be my clarion call on the ashes of you and your fellow sinners. We will build a new church, a bigger church. Meanwhile, I found someone else to store the bodies I need for the next message. Because as 4 Gospels and 62 other books as in the Bible confirm, there is always another message in need of sending. Creepy. Anyway, so we have, I don't call her prostitute girl, but yeah, this woman found there is smoke coming from the church, and Rorschach says these are sex shop handcuffs and cheap metal. So he says, let it burn. But he gets burned also, right? Because nobody in his right mind would, wait for that to be melted. But on the other hand, he cannot go anywhere. So Owlman says, we need to split up. Look for anyone trapped inside. You go up, I'll go down. And then she makes a joke. Turns out that is your specialty. Jeez, he says. And she says, I love doing that to him. Right. So he escapes with his life. He puts on the mask, right, and is put on his head, and he realizes that Owlman is behind it. He says, hey, Rorschach, is that you? Discuss later. Open the damn door. So he's throwing some kind of an explosion pellet, and he jumps out. He says, you all right? Yes, no, it doesn't matter. So you tracked Dean here too, then? Something like that. So, and then he looks at the pile of bodies. He says, what happened? Well, Rorschach is gone, right? And then we have this, this sign that we've probably seen a couple of times when Rorschach held up that sign a couple of times outside of the church, and also in the movie, and also in the Watchmen comic. Anyway, so you seem awfully calm for someone whose church is burning now, says the woman. Once you realize it's everything part of God's plan, very little worries you anymore. Is that what you told the woman you killed? So he says, well, you're not a woman. You're certainly not a lady, not dressed like that. Slut, almost certainly. And he shoots. I like this. I like this crazy face. And then she's gone. Or not, right? So he grabs her. You think you're smart, think you're good enough to fight a man. When I see one, I'll let you know. Show what a real man does to a woman, he says. But Owlman has a flashback about, his dad beating up his mom. Like I said, it's not really about this villain, although, we need a villain in the story, right? So he doesn't take it anymore. He charges, and while this guy wants to choke the life out of her, he says, what are you smiling? Gonna show you what happens to a whore. See, and she says, I can see. See what? See God? See the end of your life? What do you see, slut? He says, behind you. And then Rorschach impales him with the end is nigh sign. He says, no. He said, that's what's happened to a whore, he says. And he doesn't like whores, right? He hates these kind of women, right? Because he thinks they are sick, and it doesn't sit well with his viewpoints. So she reaches out to her, and he does nothing until then he pulls her up, which I think is character growth, because like I said, he just thinks these women needs to be eradicated. Well, not really eradicated, but they're, not really good people. He hates them. He says, what did you do? What did you do? He says, what you wouldn't, what you couldn't, how much you wanted to. We can't do this. We talked about this. Yes, talk is what you're good at. You talk, I'll do. Good partnership. That cracked me up. So, but then she says, gentlemen, 1, the joint is still on fire. 2, I hear police sirens. 3, no, actually, I don't need a free after fire and police. So they're getting out of here, right? Rorschach stands there, grabs the sign, or maybe it just breaks off, right? Because it's still part of his, he's being impaled. And then he walks out, right? Because, like I said, this is before Watchmen. So he's still doing the sign, the end of times, the end is nigh thing, in the what comes after this, which I think, okay, there he gets the sign. I mean, it's not really important, but for Rorschach, it is important, right? Because for him, the end is nigh. So yeah, crazy. So the news reported the bodies and the reverend, and they are speaking to his, wife, I guess. He says, no, my husband has nothing to do with those dead harlots. He was a good man and man of God. Well, we found fingerprints and keys to the basements. No comments. So we have, the original Owlman here. And he sent a letter to, our Owlman, the new Owlman, the Owlman 2. Why am I forgetting his real name? Is it Dave or Dean or David? Something like that. And basically, you can basically read what happened in issue number 3, then probably it gets a little bit clearer. So it says, I made a decision. So you read it. Yeah, I don't care what happened in the past. I know the person you are and knows the person I needed you to be. He says, the way the whole country still needs a hero, needs you to be a hero. He says, listen, you are as close as a father to me, a real father. When I used to get the crap kicked out of me as a kid, the only thing that kept me going was knowing that there was guys like you in the world who never gave up. And I doubt I'm the only one. Don't do this, please. So I'm not sure he wants to maybe delete himself, expose his identity to the world, or just, has something done in the past that he's ashamed of. That's what he's talking about here. And that he thinks that the world and his companions and Owlman needs to know because of the terrible things he has done, and he wants to come clean. But he says, you know what? I'm going to give you to the safety deposit. And, if I'm dead, you can revisit your decision. Okay, well, then I have to worry about for a long time because you're not going anywhere. He says, maybe, maybe not, but you're right. Doesn't matter where you win or lose. All that matters when the time comes is that you go down swinging. I wonder what that means, actually. Maybe I'm missing a key point to connect this particular piece of the puzzle. Probably I have to read it back to back to get a better idea of it. But I think, like I said before, I think it's something like that. And he wants to come out, in this time period where the things that he has done or who he is not acceptable. That's my guess. So then Rorschach and Owlman has a discussion because Owlman wants to possibly report Rorschach to the cops. If we let him go, he says, he would have walked, money, power, expensive attorneys would have even have been close. You just cannot kill people. You saw what he did. You would have done nothing. If you're going to do something you would have done when your dad was beating your mother. Shit, heavy topics. Stop it. But you were soft, like you're soft now, because women make you soft, make you hesitate. Now, then we have a flashback of what really happened. So his father says, hey, we're going to start over again. And, we have to deal with the brat because he's pregnant, and basically is suggesting an abortion, right? But then this is happening. So here is where David is basically killed his dad, but the story was told that he had a cardiac arrest or something, that he fell. But this is probably not what he told Rorschach, because Rorschach says something to make things right, you have to do things wrong. I'm willing to do those things. I've always been willing to do them. And you're not. So Owlman knows he's right, but he says, we need to take a couple of weeks apart. I have to think about this. So you're not calling the police? No, at least not this time, because we're all entitled to one really big mistake. One mistake, right, but is it yours or mine? Or does he know? Interesting. So he wants to take the Twilight Lady. That's why she calls herself out of to dinner, because he really likes her, right? From one night bird to the another, love from the Twilight Bird Lady. And then I believe this is later, you know, when he met the Silk Spectre, and this was before they fall in love, and so maybe she shows, or maybe they was on the verge, because in the movie that he showed around the apartment. So probably this is the scene. This is the flashback. Then when she just, you know, when he watched at the picture, she just walked out of the apartment, and the Twilight Lady, she sent you her picture? Yeah, well, guess she had sort of a fixation. And they have fun with each other, right? They really like each other. And this is also funny when she likes to make fun of him, right? But then in the most playful way. She was a very, very sick woman. That's a lie, of course. And then, I'm meaning to throw the picture away, but you know how it is. And then he gets a call. Hey, I know you're there. Why won't you talk to me? Why won't you say anything? Why won't you see me? She says, I can afford anything. Oh, it's called Dan. I can afford cars, jewels, toys, everything a woman in my profession could ever want. There's only one thing in the world that I can't afford, Dan, she says. He doesn't know that she's in the phone booth behind her. She says, I cannot afford to fall in love. He says, don't do this. I'll find you again, and this time I won't let you go, even if I have to bust you out to do it. You're a good man, Dan Brybreg. You deserve a good woman, not, she wants to say me. I love you. Goodbye. And then she walks down the street, never to be seen again. The end. Oh man, I really feel for Dan. It's just, I didn't know there was a woman in his life before the Silk Spectre, right? And they seem to have, you know, be a good fit, but, you know, it was not meant to be, unfortunately. I mean, I like Silk Spectre, but I think the Twilight Lady would be a better fit for him anyway. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you liked the video. I see you on the next one. Bye-bye.